What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Real Talk NFT podcast, where we talk all things Web3. Please welcome me onto the show. We have Carlini, the founder of Purrnelope's Country Club, one of the first NFT projects that I actually got involved in. In fact, you guys can't see it on the podcast, but if you log on YouTube, you can see my perfect t-shirt featuring my Purrnelope's cat there. So thank you for joining us, Carlini, and being on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me back. Had a great time last time I was on. Looking forward to this.
Yeah, that was a while ago. And for the first-time listeners who don't know your background, can you please just give us a quick bio about yourself, and then we'll talk about Purrnelope's Country Club.
Yeah, sure. So I guess the real quick bio is found NFTs in 2017 with CryptoKitties, played a lot of that. Never left NFTs. Wallet, I've done 65,000 NFT transactions. So very addicted to NFTs. Co-founded NFT Boxes with Pranksy at the end of 2020, and then somewhere around the middle of 2021 founded Purrnelope's Country Club and been doing that. It was actually our 18th month, year and a half anniversary 3 days ago. So it's been quite a while, and just can't get away from NFTs. Just love them too much.
Same here. As you can see in my background, I think I did myself a disservice. I had a goal of, documenting the NFT space, which I thought was possible. Obviously, that is not. And tried collecting everything underneath the sun. But one of the first projects that a lot of community members pointed me to was Purrnelope's Country Club. And congratulations on 18 months. Most projects don't last 18 days, let alone 18 months. So you are a dinosaur in the industry, even though it's only 18 months. That's less than 2 years' time, but it certainly feels like dog years here. Tell the first-time listeners, tell us about Purrnelope's Country Club.
So I guess what we like to try and do is, so we take, all the things everyone else does, every profile picture sort of project. Think of the sort of basic stuff that everyone does. We do that as well. And then on top of that, try and actually progress NFTs. So because I've been in the space so long and I'm really passionate about NFTs, and let me tell you, before 2020, you had to be passionate to stick around. We're talking, $20 NFTs were high priced, and the big whales that came in, they were buying, $4,000 NFTs. That was 20 Ethereum, and it felt like it was an absolutely whale buy then. So you weren't in it for the money in that bear market. And we're just trying to push NFTs forward. So we don't have, the Yuga budget, the Moonbirds, the Doodles budget. We've got a very modest budget that we're trying to find things that actually add value to an NFT and to other projects. So one of the main things that we've done is sort of pushed ENS Subdomains. So my username everywhere is carlini8.pcc.eth, which is my brand, my favorite project, which, has to be, it's my project. And then my favorite chain, which is Ethereum, because it's obviously the best chain. And that's my wallet. It's proof that I own a Purrnelope's because it's attached to a Purrnelope NFT. So the only way for that to work is if you have the NFT, proving that. And it's just looking at all the other things we can actually do with that and taking this forward. And I don't want to go into I can talk for hours on, where that could lead to and what we're trying to do. But I guess the short form for Purrnelope's is taking these kind of ideas and actually making something to do with NFTs. And there are, I'm not saying we're the only ones trying to do that or anything like that. There are lots of projects doing great stuff. And I just said to you now before coming on that I was just playing Dookie Dash. The Yuga game. But it's just trying to make something that could lead to something big for NFTs, because I think if you do that, if you're seen as sort of, CryptoPunks are seen as the project that brought NFTs to people, if we could be seen as the project that brings something like subdomains, or another thing we're looking at is dynamic NFTs. If we can bring that through, then sort of our position is solidified in history regardless of what then goes on to happen. So the sort of short-term goal is to do something great that sort of puts us in the history books forever, I guess.
Yeah, you definitely were at the forefront of a lot of innovation. First that I've seen to do a vault of sorts. You guys have the Kitty Bank, and there's a lot of highly valuable NFTs within that, and that's shared, somewhat shared within the community. And then you're the first that I've seen to do the ENS domain names. I haven't seen any projects since then to kind of push innovation and adoption. So that was great to see, and for people to utilize and see it, floating around, the community also. But I haven't heard about dynamic lands. Yeah, dynamic NFTs. I'm sorry, but I know I might have spilled the beans there. It has something to do with the land, not metaverse, but land, right?
Yeah. So, like I said, we don't have the budget of the others. So going for a metaverse would be insane because we'd be taking on these hundreds of millions of pounds or dollars, even companies. But yeah, so we've got a land NFT, and the land NFT is sort of upgraded with Yarn. You interact with it with our community token, and you level it up using that. You sort of burn it or send it to us, and you've got this land that you'll see grow and buildings appear, and we're sort of building out different routes to build that. At first launch, it'll be progressive level 0 to level 20, and you'll just level up using Yarn. But then as we build out the ecosystem more, there's then plans for certain buildings to turn up that can affect different aspects of our community. So one example of that is, let's say you have a level 20 land, and that gives you a 5% passive buff. These are just numbers I'm making up. So if any PCC holders are listening, this isn't finalized. I'm just riffing off the tongue. But it gives you a buff to, say, our questing side of things that we have. So we have a questing bot where people can go off and quest and get points. And at that level, maybe you get a buff to that area. Or like you said, we got the Kitty Vault. There could be a staking mechanism involved with the Kitty Vault tokens that land gives you a buff for, or all these different areas that we're building out. The idea is that land is at the center of it, sort of acting as a passive addition to the whole ecosystem, and that's powered by the Yarn token.
Yeah, there's so much within Purrnelope's that you guys are advocating, and I am all for it because there's not enough projects trying new things. We see a lot of projects that are just kind of spinning the same old wheel, but you guys are actually pushing new innovations. And you've been in the space for 18 months now. I'm sure the community, you've learned a lot from your community. What has there been anything from the community that they voiced that they really, really either want, or something that they really, really love that you've seen adopted, whether it be they love the vinyls or the 3D models, or they love the token metrics of Yarn? What general feedback have you seen from the community, since you've probably had more than many other projects that I've seen?
Yeah, we do have a lot of positive and negative feedback. People are in our Discord. Generally, people feel at home, I guess. It's not one of those Discords that just moves. You log in and it's constantly moving, and it's just GIFs and when moon and all of that stuff. The real discussion does happen in our chats, and it's not even just feedback to us. For example, someone will put something out there, and then a different community member, and they'll have a proper back and forth before I even log in and sort of see what they're talking about. The things they like are quite often the things that I think have held us back a bit. So when we first released, we said we'd do 8 airdrops. We'd do 1 airdrop a month, and all of those airdrops would be claimable for physicals. They also own a share of the Kitty Vault. And just the cost involved with that airdrop, because we're effectively giving away 8 free things to everyone. They like that they can get this hoodie with IYK ownership tech built into it. They like they can get a 3D model of their own Purrnelope sent to them, and the vinyl, and we've got keyboards coming, and ledgers. And I can't remember off the top of my head, which is bad because I should remember, but all of these things that are going out, they like the Kitty Vault backsit. And we do get feedback like it's taken too long to release the physicals, which I understand. It's been ages now for some of them that we don't have out, but it's just prioritizing the right things and trying to listen to the community. And when they say, we'd prefer you to release land before getting the ledger out, we're like, okay, we'll focus here and there. So it does really feel like a family that you can actually talk to and get the feedback on where to work.
Yeah, this is the first time in my life where I felt like a part of either a company, brand, or even IP, and that's never been felt before, and pretty unique that I can reach someone almost immediately for either an outlet or some constructive criticism. But just a quick note on the physical redemption part, not pertaining to Purrnelope's. I'm still waiting. It's been a year now for my Adidas Into the Metaverse physical claim. So don't feel bad at all because a big giant company like Adidas, they're like, oh, we're sending to you. And then 6 months later, and I finally got a confirmation email after 1 year after the Adidas Into the Metaverse drop. So voicing that out loud in case Adidas is listening to my podcast.
Is that all NFT stuff behind you? I can see Clone, Gary V.
Most of it, yeah. So even the V friends, I have a V friends, Clones. I have the Flyfish, Murakami, and then what's funny, this is a NBA basketball physical doll, but that was actually won through NBA Top Shot. So they actually gave tickets to a game where I was able to collect that. So pretty much, and that this Funko Pop is actually a digital redemption from an NFT, from a Funko NFT.
Oh, nice. So it is pretty much all NFTs up there.
Yeah, except for this Happy Lucky Cat. That's just an Asian culture try to bring me luck. So I like to practice what I preach. I try to wear as much NFT clothing as I can because, like I said, I feel like part of the community, whether it be like a silent investor or a small equity owner. It feels like I'm tied to the journey of whatever brand that I've patronized. So that's something that I've never felt before. And part of the reason I like NFTs, specifically ones that I'm either drawn to the community and or the product.
It's the shared interest, right? The founders, which I guess I can say as a founder, want the same thing as the holders. We all want to sort of go in the same direction. And it's just nice being side by side. Like I know, I'm doing the work and hopefully bringing the community with me, but it does feel like they're along for the ride and not really colleagues, but like colleagues from another office, I guess. You all know the topic of the company, but you don't work completely on the same thing.
Right. Absolutely. I feel like I'm logging into another office space every single day within the Discord. Some people have a love-hate with it. I know a lot of friends that collect NFTs that wouldn't even touch Discord or Twitter, but they collect the NFTs, and others that are on Discord more than I am, and they're chatting with their newfound friends for life on a day-to-day basis, and I find that as a welcoming benefit of the space is that it really connects people. Truly, it does. Yeah. My next question.
The number of people. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. So we're starting a new year here, and you knocked everything out of the park for your previous roadmaps. Are roadmaps still a thing? I know the NFT space has definitely evolved since Purrnelope's started 18 months ago. And we've seen a lot of the big name companies just recently announced their second iterations. Like Doodles just made an announcement. Bored Ape Yacht Club is just doing their Dookie key pass game. And there's so many other ones. Pudgy, like everyone just started announcing this year. What's some of the things that's on the roadmaps on Purrnelope's Country Club, and what does success look like for you for 2023?
So I guess our main focus is our yarn token, which is yielding to the majority of our NFTs every day. Well, technically every block, but you'd be insane to claim it that often. And it's just our job all year to continuously add ways to spend your yarn. So the way we see it is a sort of in-game token. You know, it's a gold coin within the Purrnelope's Country Club, and we want you to spend it within our ecosystem. Obviously, I know, you know, we can't stop you going off and selling it in a DEX or putting it up for liquidity or anything like that. But we want to ensure that people have options to spend it within us, you know, for a different NFT, to level up a different NFT, to change this, to get this physical redemption, working on all of those kinds of things. And we have our sort of tier 2, which I guess is our mutant level sort of Purrnelope, which is called a Purrnelope's Creation, where people can go to our site, claim their yarn, and mint a creation. And that is a collection of 20,000 NFTs, which will slowly mint over 2, maybe longer years. And within that 20,000, there are going to be 20 different sort of 1K collections, I guess. So we released the first 3, which is the first 3,000 NFTs, and they're sort of Android, cyberpurs and steampurs, so like steampunk, cyberpunk, and androids, and they're like robotic Purrnelopes. And there'll be themes along that line continuing for the other 20. And the other main thing is this land. So we're going to be building out sort of we're currently building out the ability for you to level up your land. We're trying to get a bot together where you can do it gaslessly, because even just playing Dookie Dash now, every 10 minutes I'm sending a transaction to play the game, which, you know, for a 2-week period is fine. You know, it is what it is. We're all competing to mint an NFT. But for leveling up Purrnelope's land, I want people to be able to do that gaslessly, so they can just click a button and away the leveling goes. So the goal is to build out this year land and sort of what the land buffs, so that it has a use, it buffs something that people are trying to compete or use, or all these different things. And success for me is more holders, more active socials, you know, Discord, Twitter, people generally more engaged. If we end the year with more engaged people than we start, then we've done a good job. If we end the year with all the land minted out, because we're actually doing small sales of 500, which we've done 2 of, and they're minted out. So it's not like that we're minting now, but we will have another sale in the future at some point. And if we mint all that out this year, that will be a success. If someone's leveled up to level 50 land, I would consider that a success as well, which is currently the cap. And it will be interesting to see if someone would spend that much yarn, because it does build up. We're actually matching 1-to-1. I don't know if you played it, the RuneScape experience chart. So to get from level 1 to 2 took a certain amount of experience, and that is the same for land. It takes that much yarn. And level 50, I think, is somewhere around just over 100,000, which means if someone spent 100,000 yarn leveling it up, then we've probably done something good with land to make someone want to spend that. So I'd see that as a success as well.
Yeah, there's so much within Purrnelope that I have not played that game yet. I have I need to dive back deeper into whether it be Discords, not even for Purrnelope, but for a lot of NFT collections. There's a lot to dive into, and that's what I said in the beginning. I think I bit off too much than I can chew. But that's why I'm glad that I'm on here with you to learn and catch up on all things.
It's hard. I struggle. I'm in so many different projects, and I just can't keep up with them at all. Even, you know, I know I run one, so maybe my main one I spend a little more than most people. But even a second one, you know, even Doodles or BAYC or Moonbirds. I just can't keep up with Azuki. I absolutely love Azuki at the moment. Like the last few months, I feel like they've been absolutely hitting it out of the park after starting on sort of, rocky sort of waters. And they've just released, I don't know how to say it, whatever they call their sort of village, Hayaruki or something like that. And I just love sort of going around. Yeah, whatever that is, it's great and I love it. And I just can't keep up with any other projects.
Well, there's so much progressing within NFTs and Web3 that's ongoing right now. Where do you see it going in the next few years, or what's some things that you want to happen within the NFT and Web3 space within the next few years?
I think we're gonna get back to a positive sort of mainstream adoption, because right now I think it's safe to say NFTs are seen in a negative light on average. If you polled everyone online and what do you think of NFTs, I think most would say negative things. I think in the next few years we'll be able to get that back to positive. I'm not sure we'll be able to do that with the name NFTs. One of the things that I think helped cause the big run from the end of 2020 onwards was NBA Top Shot basically not saying anything about NFTs or blockchain or anything. You just log in and own a collectible. They'd be like, own this moment, buy this, buy that. They didn't say on Flow, a chain that we built. They didn't mention Flow. They didn't mention NFT. It was just all, along the same lines of the Reddit NFT recently, where they called it a digital collectible. I think we'll be showing why people should care about NFTs instead of telling them they should care about NFTs. I'd love to see more uses like this Dookie Dash game, like Doodles 2, I think is going to go quite mainstream when it comes out, probably before the next few years deadline of the question. Moonbirds have High Rise, Azuki have The Land we just talked about. I think there's going to be a lot of new projects as well with sort of very high goals, just because that's what we saw this time around. New projects came out. Well, we always thought in 2018, 19, oh, we'll sell our bags to the new people. And no, it turns out you guys make your own bags. So I fully expect that to happen again with lots of new projects claiming to go for the moon and probably a similar hit rate. And we end up with, a sort of BAYC and a similar top 10. And then we also end up with, hundreds of Metabots and slum doges and,
Crypto dick butts. Yeah, that was a good one. Or... Well,
they've done all right, actually.
Yeah, they actually done all right, and surprisingly, even the Trump NFT collection did all right out the gates. As a project founder, I imagine you, along with artists, is one for royalties, and that's been a hot topic of late. And we've seen marketplaces trying to help enforce this and incentivize even bidding and whatnot. What do you see in terms of and even I think Gabe Layden from Digidaigaku talked about having a wrapped NFT so that you can enforce royalties at a coding level. Any thoughts on that?
Yes, I was involved in sort of, I don't really know how to explain it, the battle for artist royalties first time around. And that was actually to add them. Royalties weren't sort of a standard, which I think most people coming in assumed they were just because they were there. But there was a big battle to get royalties there for artists in the first place. And sort of, I think the view that managed to convince people on the other side back then was, look, this is a good use case for NFTs. And it actually, and by that I mean art on NFTs is a good use case. And by allowing royalties to be built in, what we're doing there is making it more likely that more artists will come in, because that is a reason that NFTs are better than just plain digital art for your work. And I think it's definitely good to keep it going. The wrapper method isn't really new, because we did have that with CryptoPunks. Because they were so old, we couldn't sell them on OpenSea. And we had to create, I say we, some smart people created a wrapper so that you could wrap your CryptoPunks and then sell it on OpenSea. And really, that's just the same as wrapping your NFT for royalties. So will it work? I think it will come down to social convention again, because we managed to, people are saying, you know, royalties don't have to exist, you can't enforce them on chain. Well, we kind of socially enforce them for 3 to 4 years. So it's more of a battle to keep that going. Like, we don't have to pay taxes. It's, you know, it doesn't automatically go out of your bank for quite a lot of jobs. You're socially like, yeah, I have to do that. So you go and do it. Maybe we have to incentivize in other ways. Projects have to, to be honest, I haven't really thought about it too hard, because Purrnelope's volume isn't high enough for, even if we got, you know, 10%, which isn't our percentage is free, and 1% of that goes to us, 1% goes to the Kitty Bank, the Kitty Vault, sorry, and 1% goes to Yarn. So we only actually get 1%, and volume isn't high enough for me to worry about any sort of action. So from a Purrnelope's point of view, I don't really too mind. If it brings in more volume for us, then that's probably better, if being low, because it attracts more people to look at us. And I think when we actually get looked at, that's our benefit, because people can see we're not going to rug. They can see everything we've done. And they can see that we're building to a future, and they can sort of sit on us as a safe bet and then go and flip other stuff.
Wow. Yeah, that's news to me. That royalties were not in place in the beginning, and they were socially enforced, and that's kind of been the norm. I, for one, am all for royalties for the artists, for brands. I believe that's definitely something that, if I had the brains behind it, to enforce that amongst all projects, but definitely a chasm that we're going to cross. I'm pretty sure some smart people will figure it out shortly.
Yeah, like, while you can't fully enforce it without sort of, the argument against is you take away decentralization by enforcing it, because you can only allow certain things to happen. But the way to look at decentralization is it's always going to be sort of a spectrum of where you think is best. There will not always be, not everyone will agree what the perfect amount is. Bitcoin maxis think Ethereum is too centralized, whereas some people will think Google Docs is fine because multiple people can log in at the same time. You know, we're never all going to agree with everyone over what level of decentralization is fine. And if a project does something like restrict you from using certain marketplaces and you don't like it, it's just going to get to the point where you just simply don't buy it. You find your line. Where is decentralized enough for you, if that even matters to you? And, you know, you vote with your money, you walk with your feet, and you basically do what is right for you, because there is nothing in the word NFT that says decentralized. It is right. It is going to have so many different sort of use cases. It's digital paper, and you can do lots of things with paper. And there's going to be use cases of NFTs that people absolutely hate, and there's going to be use cases that people absolutely love. And there'll be people that love all of these use cases and people that hate all of these use cases. It's like we said earlier, it is too big of a market to follow like yourself. You can't comment on the whole NFT market simply because it's too big. And it is only going to get bigger. So people are going to focus in on what they find important. If they really care about decentralization, they'll focus in on the stuff that is more decentralized, because even then they won't have enough time to look at all the decentralized projects. And I just feel like it will become to the point with the internet where if you don't like a website, you don't go to it, right? You're not like,
Right.
oh, let's go make myself mad on this website today. No, well, some people might. But you'll just go to wherever you'll find your place in the market, and that's where everyone will live, I expect.
Yeah, definitely some good points there. Well, I for one believe that it's got to be a fine balance. But if I could have a big vote, if you guys taking votes into Kitty Vault, and this might not be a good representation of the Kitty Vault or Kitty Bank, is to create a big ball of yarn and put it at our Basel next year amongst all the Web3 conferences. Because I would love to meet you in person and love to see the community in person one day. And I find that that's as much as we are in the Web3 space and digital, sometimes it is good to have a face-to-face with the communities.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Awesome. Well, Carlini, it's been amazing having you on. I always look for your project and check in often as the North Star of what's happening within the Web3 space, because I know that the vision and mission of Purrnelope's is to be at the forefront of NFT. So I know you guys never fail there. So, thank you for doing that.
Oh, thank you so much. That's very kind.
Amazing. So another 18 months, Carlini, we're not going to wait till that long to have you back on, I don't think. But we would love to see how rapidly this changes, in this year of 2023.
I'll see you in 2025 when we're free.
Awesome. So I'll put all the links for Purrnelope down below for them to find you. And thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.